Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin Kopp, and over the past few months, we have used Zoom to interview a variety of Temple student athletes, coaches, and staff to talk to them about how things are going. But we have a very special opportunity today to talk to a special Temple guest, former men's soccer player, and recently the champion of Big Brother All-Stars and the recipient of a $500,000 grand prize. Cody Calafiore is going to be joining us today. And now, I have had the distinct pleasure of conducting all of these interviews on Zoom for the past 6 or 7 months now, but little known fact, here on our own staff, we have one of the biggest Big Brother fans anywhere. He has been begging me to do this interview, so I'm going to do something tough for me, and that's I'm going to give up the spotlight for the day, and I'm going to welcome in my good friend and our Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Operations, Mr. Scott Walcoff. Scott, thanks for joining us today.
Kevin Kopp, is that you? Is that you, my friend?
It's me. Hello.
Yeah, Kev, we did used to host the Owl's Nest podcast together. We did, right?
Yes. Actually, I'm in my office where we used to sit within 6 feet of each other and tape the podcast together.
Well, you can see that I'm not in my office now, but that's a story for another day. But we did used to host the Owl's Nest podcast together. We did used to host the Temple football pregame show together. And all of a sudden, Kevin Kopp, you've now gone Hollywood on me, brother. You've gone Hollywood on me. You're now doing things solo. And I'm just shocked and amazed that you have just forgotten about me like this.
Scott, it's sometimes over Zoom that, the connection breaks up a little bit. I never meant to forget about you. I promise.
Well, I appreciate you bringing me back in for this opportunity, Kevin.
Because this is my special gift to you to make up for all of the interviews you missed. I know that you're not just a fan; you are a Big Brother super fan. Is this correct?
I am a super fan. That is true. I've watched Big Brother since season 1 back 20 years ago. I think it's been at this point. I think back in 2000 the show started, 2000 2001. But I've watched every episode since season 1. I am the definition of a Big Brother super fan. I don't know if I should really be admitting that to our viewership right now, but I am very well skilled in the game of Big Brother. You'll probably never see me myself in that house, but I am happy to critique someone's game playing, and I am fired up to bring Cody Calafiore into this program here and really grill him on the inside gossip and inside dirt on Big Brother.
Oh, the next best thing to watching you on Big Brother has been getting to see a proud Temple alum shine. And maybe you're able to pick up enough tips in this interview that if we see you on next season, we'll know that you were learning from the best.
100%. If I could win $500,000, I'd be very, 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 very happy, Kevin.
Yes, and I'm sure you would be at work on Monday as well.
Monday, 10 years after the fact? Yes, perhaps. Not the following Monday, yes.
Oh, that's good stuff. Well, I personally, I cannot wait to check this out. I have loved getting to do these interviews on Zoom, but I know that you are the man for this job, and I'm really excited to see you put Cody through the ringer here.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, Kevin. Hopefully you and I can get together a game at a football game sometime in the future there, buddy. All right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, without further ado, it is time. Kevin Kopp, thank you very much. It is time to bring on the winner of Big Brother All-Stars, former Temple men's soccer player and now $500,000 richer, Cody Calafiore. Cody, my man, how are you, buddy? Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
This is an honor and a pleasure, let me tell you. First and foremost, I do have to get this out of the way. You are a fan favorite in the Walcoff household. My kids love you, and my wife has a crush on you. So I just need to get that out of the way right now. So we got it pretty well covered in the Walcoff household.
Nice.
But I do want to start by saying, let's talk about your time at Temple. Let our viewing audience know when you played on the men's soccer team at Temple, then we'll kind of get into your experience a little bit at Temple.
Yeah, so I transferred into Temple the spring semester of my freshman year. And I say it all the time. I was recruited to Temple. I chose not to go to Temple right away. It was more of an athletic choice. And then transferring to Temple was one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my entire life. It was an incredible school. I met friends for life and had an absolutely unbelievable experience. I lived at the 1940s when I first transferred in, which was right on campus. It was incredible. I had all my soccer teammates were there. And then I moved off campus. I moved right on the corner of 16th and Montgomery was where I lived off campus. So it was just, Temple was the most incredible school to have been at and gotten my undergrad. I loved it. Everything about Temple, I'll only speak very highly about it. It gave me that full college experience. The college that I was at beforehand, it was like small classes. And when I went to Temple, I felt like I was getting like the college experience that you like get in the movies, where like you could either take a small class or you could take like a class with 300 people, like a huge lecture hall. Like you had the campus, which was only Temple. Like it was like your own little city. It was such an unbelievable experience. You know, I would go and visit a bunch of my other like friends or my family that was at other schools, and just nothing matched up to Temple. It was one of the best 4 years of my life.
That's what we like to hear. Tell our viewers what years you played on the men's soccer team.
So I was on the men's soccer team from 2009 to 2013 when I graduated. It was unfortunate. It was when the soccer program still was traveling out to Ambler to play. You guys couldn't wait to get a field on campus until after I left, of course.
You notice how we planned that out perfectly. Yes.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was like, oh, thank you guys for putting this amazing turf field right on Broad Street 2 years after I leave. But yeah, I played 2009 to 2013. It was amazing. I played under Coach Mac Williams, and we did really well. My first year there, we were about 500, and I got a ton of accolades. I was first team all conference. My junior year, came in and was on the Herman Trophy watch list. Got honorable mention. I got injured my junior year and missed like 5 games, which was so unfortunate. We still made our conference tournament, and then my senior year we did really, really well. Lost first round of the conference tournament every year. That's the only regret I have, is that we lost the first round every year to teams that we should have beat, could have beat. The senior year one hurt the most. We lost to VCU with literally 28 seconds left. And VCU was at the time ranked like 15th in the country. We played them. It was a battle. And it's unfortunate that that's how my career ended at Temple. But it was such an unbelievable experience playing the soccer team, traveling all over the place. We were in the Atlantic 10 at the time, traveling to North Carolina, St. Louis. We traveled out to California, Missouri. It was such an unbelievable experience to play at Temple, and then just be a part of a cool program like that where you're flying as a team, taking long bus rides, playing ranked schools. It was an unbelievable experience.
Being the Big Brother fanatic in the Temple Athletic Department, I know we do have a lot of Big Brother fans out there. I do want to kind of get into the nitty gritty of Big Brother if we can for a couple minutes.
Yeah, of course.
So let's go back. Let's go back 6 years. And I think you were on the show previously. What, 2014? Is that right?
2014. It was a year after I graduated. Yeah.
Okay. So your decision to take Derek with you out of loyalty 6 years ago instead of taking Victoria obviously cost you, frankly, $500,000. This year, did that decision that you made 6 years ago, did that influence your decision this year to maybe go instead with the person, even though you were loyal technically to both Enzo and Nicole, maybe the person you were a little bit less loyal to a point? Did that influence your decision to take Enzo instead of Nicole, thinking you have a better chance to win the money against Enzo?
I can't even tell you how heavily that weighed on me, because the first time, I always say, the first time I played the game and I played with Derek, I would think I was just there to have fun. Like, I was 23 years old. It was a really cool experience to be able to be on Big Brother. And then going through it with somebody that I was so close with, like Derek, getting to the finals was where like I kind of like capped off like, oh this was a win. The second time, winning was the only way I would have walked away with this feeling like it was a success. Not getting to the finals, not getting to the final 5, final 4, final 3, or even the final 2. And so when I was weighing the options, one, I still wanted to be loyal, but it almost made it easier because I was loyal to both Nicole and Enzo. They were both 2 people that I locked in with very early on. And so when I was looking at it, I was like, Nicole's a previous winner. I viewed a lot of the jury like as guaranteed votes for Nicole, where Enzo, I did not feel like there were guaranteed votes for Enzo. I felt like me going up against Enzo, there was going to be, all right, well, they could go either way, and I felt more confident that I could sway people to come my way. If I started hitting on the head a lot of the things that I felt like I did, and if that aligned with stuff that they thought, I think that I was going to easily be able to kind of like sway things in my favor. If it was an Enzo, if I was sitting next to Nicole, I felt like some of the jury might have been just kind of like turned off to the fact of anything I did in the game, because they probably would have viewed her as a winner that went to the end of the game, did what she had to do, and then sat there in the final 2 again. And I thought even if she didn't say that she did much in the game, that might have been enough to get votes. And I knew if I'm making the decision to go to the final two, I am not picking somebody that I'm going to lose to. And so that weighed very heavily on me because I was like, I cannot make that mistake again. I cannot go to the final two when I'm the person that decided who was coming with me and then lose to that person again. I don't know. It would have been way worse than the first time.
Personally speaking, I mean, obviously it turned out you made a great decision this time, but personally speaking, I can tell you, to me, it was a no-brainer for you to take Enzo with you. Because I know that when you took Derek 6 years ago, I was sitting on the sofa saying, oh my God, he just lost $500,000.
Yeah, right. And I feel like that is exactly how almost just about everybody felt.
Have you
Except
talked?
for maybe my family who was hopeful.
They have to be, right.
Yeah.
Have you talked to any of the jurors after the show to see how they would have voted if it was Nicole sitting next to you instead of Enzo?
No, I haven't gotten into that conversation because honestly, coming out of the house, I really wanted to like kind of just like decompress about the game. I didn't want to talk to people from the house about like, oh, would you have done this? Because I genuinely don't feel like they would have really had that answer for me. I think the answer would be kind of like not authentic, not in the sense that they're lying to me. I just think that they would have, like, their heads are spinning the same way my head was spinning. So I haven't talked to anybody about, I haven't talked to anybody about if they would have, but I've seen some interviews that show that there would have been people that voted for Nicole. It would not have been an I know. And so just from seeing those interviews, it lets me know like, yeah, okay, I made the right decision.
Absolutely made a right decision on that one. Have you talked to Nicole at all since you left the house?
I have not spoken a word to her. I don't know. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I wanted to give her space and not like try to bombard her with like, I'm so sorry what I did to you, because like, if I'm being honest, and this is as genuine as I could come across, like I'm really not like apologetic for not taking her. I'm apologetic for like having to hurt her, if that makes sense. Like, because what I did was for the game. And so like, I don't want to like just like throw her in her face like I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. Like, because if I would go back, I would have done it the same every single time. So I feel like that's not a genuine apology. And so like I wanted to give her kind of space to like kind of deal with it, because I felt like it would be selfish of me to just like kind of try to get the forgiveness from her when like it's still raw. Sure. And so I'm kind of giving her space. There's some stuff that is going on, and I don't know that she's going to ever reach out to me. And if that's the case, then it's kind of unfortunate, because her and my relationship was so genuine in the house that I did view her as like a friend also, not just a person I was playing Big Brother with. So it would kind of be unfortunate if we didn't speak.
Once you give her space, Cody, and I appreciate you saying that. I mean, clearly you have a heart, unlike like a lot of people that go in that house. But once you give her space, will you be the one to extend the olive branch and maybe text her and say, "Hey, thinking about you," around the talk if you want to? That's
without a doubt. Without a doubt. I know she has her wedding coming up. That was something that we talked about a lot. Yep. And so on top of the chaos of dealing with this house, I know that her wedding is coming very early on in December. So she just came out. She only really has a month to be preparing for her wedding. And like, I feel like that's such a huge thing in her life that like, I don't want there to be a distraction because of Big Brother, when that was just a huge distraction for 3 months. And I don't want to be a person that like, I don't know if it's like, I don't know how her husband or fiance Victor feels. Like, I don't know stuff that he was saying to her. Like, I really don't know. I don't know what her family is saying. So like, I don't know what I would really be saying, but I definitely want to wait for her to like be able to like unwind, get her head in a proper headspace, which all of us need to do after the house, and then have her wedding. And then I totally plan on reaching out to her if she doesn't. But I also don't feel like Nicole is like that. Like, I feel like she understands. I just know it hurts, because like I felt like she and I had like a brother-sister relationship. Like, she felt like I was her older brother. And when I didn't take her, it almost hurt. It hurt like more personally. And then I think she uses the game to be like, I understand, but like, I can totally understand why personally it would hurt her, because like personally it killed me to even do it to her. So I can't imagine being on the other end of it. So it's tough.
To say, how hard is it to separate gameplay in real life, right? Like you hear that a lot, and you always talk about you hear about a bitter jury and things like that. Maybe I'm just sitting on the outside, but I just shake my head and maybe it's different if I'm sitting in that house and you're spending all that time with people, but at the end of the day, it's a game, right? You can be
Right.
friendly and you can have relationships in the house and outside of the house, but it's a game and everybody is trying to win $500,000. So because you vote somebody out or don't take someone with you to the finals,
Right.
why does that matter so much? Why do people have such a hard time separating those two things?
I totally agree with you. I have no idea because it drives me. That is one of the biggest things that drives me crazy about Big Brother. That's one of the only thing I will speak, because I love the show. I love the game. I respect the game. I start to lose that when I'm like, why is this person who played an amazing game in the final two and people are just bitter? Because it's like, oh, well, he lied to me, or oh, he was fake about this, or he was when
That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Exactly. That's what we all sign up for. Now, I will say, like, if somebody chooses to be bitter because personally they were being attacked and personally stuff was said that was out of line, then I could get it. But when people give the whole, like, baseline of, well, he was always lying, and I think that's just a dirty game, and I don't like that game. It's like, well, wait, why are we on this show? Like, if somebody is truthful and being honest, I promise you that person is not going far in the game. You have to be deceptive and you have to be strategic about when the deception is there. And if you are not, then people find out early and then you end up going home. But I feel like if you're properly deceiving people and finding the right moments where, like, I have to withhold truths, and so that means it's a lie. And then if you come up front about it at the end, I never understand why people are bitter and vote the other way. I always feel like it didn't happen to me, but if it did happen to me and I was blindsided, I would always be like, wow, that's the game. And that's why people like the jury this time, I hold a lot more respect for, because there was a lot of people that could have voted very bitterly towards me. Nicole being one of them, Memphis being another, Tyler being another, Danny being another. And that's 4 votes that would go the other way. And then that all they need is one more vote of somebody that could think something else. And so people
To
that
their
could
credit, they didn't go there. Yeah, to their credit, respect for them, they didn't
to
go
their
there.
credit, 100%.
Right.
I have a ton of respect. Kevin, who I was kind of like butting heads with,
Yep.
he even voted for me, so he wasn't bitter. Like, I just have a lot more respect for people that do that, rather than, no, I'm not voting for them because, like, I don't like that they lied to me, or I don't like that they put me up and sent me home. Like, they ended my game. I have so much more respect for people that vote that way and don't vote bitter. And I think that our season was just not bitter in any way. And I think it's true to why we had a bunch of all-stars, because I feel like all-stars should never be voting bitter. Because I also feel like the age of our season was a little older, a little more mature. Like, when time passes, you're like, okay, like, I got, but, like, I'm not going to be bitter about it, because, like, if this person played a great game, like, I'm going to respect them for their game. And I think you saw that in our season and in the jury.
Absolutely. Was there anybody in the house that drove you crazy? Anybody with an annoying habit that we didn't get to see necessarily on CBS?
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Of course. Enzo is.
You got a big list, buddy.
Oh, I do. And it's not about, like, nobody personally, like, they didn't, like, annoy me with how they talk or this or that. Enzo was a mess. His cups were left everywhere. And I'm like a clean freak. Like, every single Thursday when I would, like, go to shave my face or do everything, I would clean the entire sink that I used, which was disgusting and filthy. I cleaned it with Lysol wipes. I would dry it down. It would be spotless, brand new. Not even a day goes by, there's people's toothpaste in there still sitting, which is a huge pet peeve of mine. Hair everywhere. Specifically, I think I was starting to find out at the end, I think it was a lot of Enzo. I think it was, I'll just leave it at Enzo because I know he can deal with it. And so I don't want to mention anybody else's names and then they get, like, mad at me.
I won't have you rip the whole cast when everybody watches this. That's fine.
Yeah,
Cody, I do.
So many people just were, like, driving me nuts with how dirty, leaving their dirty plates next to the sink instead of just washing their plate. Like, I could go on and on. It drove me nuts.
You know, a lot of people that don't watch Big Brother don't really understand the concept of the show, and they don't understand the fact that when you are all in this house, you are legitimately stuck in this house. Other than going into the backyard per se and taking part in competitions, there's a pool back there and you can work out and sunbathe and whatnot.
Right.
You have no access to the outside world. No cell phones, no television, no newspaper. How do you pass the time in the house that we don't see necessarily if you're not watching the live feeds? And then B, what were you most surprised at to learn or to hear coming out of that house as far as what was taking place in the real world?
It's a great question. What I also don't think people realize was this season was very different. We would only get the backyard for 2 days. We were in the house for 5 days. I don't think people realize the psychological toll it takes on you to not see the sun, not have any windows, and just be in a small space, because the house itself isn't like larger than life. And so that aspect is brutal. It is very difficult to pass time because everything becomes old fast because you do it so much. And then all of a sudden, after 2 days, you feel like you've been doing it for like 4 weeks. And so it becomes very, very difficult to like pass the time. You don't get a lot of things. Like we have a chessboard, there were some puzzles, and that's about it. You don't get playing card. You get absolutely nothing. So passing time is really just having conversations or hanging out. Like my first season, you were allowed to sleep. So I was sleeping a lot of the day when I was bored. This time in our contract, you had to stay awake from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So you were not allowed to sleep during the day.
No naps. Wow.
No naps at all. And so if you were not awake, they would hound you until you got up. And so in that like 12-hour window 12-hour window, you're just like, it's, oh man, so bad, so brutally boring. Like you can't even imagine. I can't even put it into perspective being outside unless you want to go ahead and put yourself in solitary confinement for 24 hours and make sure you're awake for 12 of those hours. That is the only thing that can maybe give you an inkling of how bad it is to be in there in solitary confinement for 7 days a week, 3 months straight. So bad. And then the second question, the craziest thing that I came out to was that nothing at all had changed. Like all I would talk about in there was spent 3 months. Like I know in New Jersey, the COVID numbers were going down and never had ticked back up. So the new cases, kept being on a downward spiral. So I was hopeful. I was like 3 months out, maybe there was a finding, maybe there was something, maybe they figured out something else. So now like the country could open back up and everything get back to normal, and coming out and getting that punch to the nose to be like, oh, nothing has changed. It's exactly the same. Maybe it's a little bit worse. Was horrible. That was really bad. And that was a lot. Cause like, I was so hopeful. I didn't let myself be negative about it the entire time, and not knowing allows you to just hold on to this hope, and coming out to have that be like not the case was very frustrating and kind of like very sad.
I can imagine it's got to be depressing for all of you coming out of the house and see that not a lot has changed, unfortunately. So,
yeah.
Well, at least you have $500,000 and maybe soothe the pain a little bit, right, brother? I mean, that's
the only thing that made me be like, all right, whatever, I'm going to deal.
Helps. I'm sure it helps a little bit. So CBS comes to you 5 years from now and they say, Cody, we're going to do what Survivor did. We're going to do that on Big Brother. We're going to have an all winners edition of Big Brother, because between you and me, there were some questionable quote unquote all-stars that played this summer. So we're going to have an all winners season. Are you in? Is Cody Calafiore in for that?
If they do an all winners and they're getting back all winners,
we're going to hold you to it now.
I mean, if they have all winners back, there's no way I'm going to be the one that says no.
That's a
if they can get all winners, if they can get,
Cody.
If they can get Wills and Derek's and Dan's and Evil Dick and like, Jordan, the Andys, like all these, like Hayden, if they could get all these people, I'd go back in a second. That'd be crazy to play with and against all those people.
That's what we like to hear. Fingers crossed to the Big Brother fans out there that there will be an all winners season of Big Brother. We hope.
I'm a competitor. I'm not going to say no to competing against the best of the best.
And if not, Cody, I'm sure you have contacts at CBS. Just kind of put the little Bird ear in their ear there. Plant that seed
Oh,
now.
yeah, it's already been a conversation. I just don't know how long, because look how long it took them to do an All-Stars.
Exactly.
So who knows? I know they're thinking of it, but I just don't know that they really know when they would even be able to do it.
Well, what's next for Cody Calafiore? You give our viewers an idea of what you have planned.
So the first time I came out of the house, I went back to school. I did training to be an actor. So I had started to book some roles and was doing some acting stuff, and it was really starting to pick up for me. I have a couple movies that are on this like site called Pure Flix right now. They're Christmas movies. Those are out now. I did a couple TV shows. One was on CBS, actually. My first role on TV was on CBS on Elementary. And so kind of getting that, I'm talking to my manager, I'm talking to my agents to see like what's going on with that. And then I do real estate. So I do what I got to do to make money. That's what I do. I just like working, because if I'm not working, I'm bored. And if I'm bored, I start playing video games. And if I'm playing video games, then it's like I'm wasting time in a day. So I try to spread myself out to do as much as I possibly can.
That's good. Well, it's good that you're not locking yourself into one thing. Keep the flexibility, keep the options open. That's good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, listen, we can't thank you enough for joining us today. And more importantly, representing Temple the way you did, from wearing your Temple gear on live TV on CBS, on the live feeds online, talking about Temple on the live feeds. I mean, you were literally a walking, talking billboard, a walking, talking advertisement for Temple.
The first time I went on Big Brother, I was like not wearing a lot of Temple stuff, and I was like, that's not happening. So I bought the hats, I bought the sweatshirts with no logos, and I was like, I'm wearing these on nominations because I know that'll be on TV. And I'm going to have them when I'm in the DR. I'm going to have them when I'm walking around the house. So if they show a clip, I was like, because the first time I didn't have enough Temple stuff on. So I was like, I'm not making that mistake again. I want everybody knowing about Temple.
As you would say, as the great Cody Calafiore would say, 100%.
100%.
100%, buddy. 100%. Thank you for repping the Temple brand and really being Temple made, Temple proud. And we sincerely.
Yeah, I'm so Temple proud. I like anybody that says or asks me questions, I wear my Temple stuff everywhere I can. And I'm starting to see more people wearing Temple stuff. And it makes me so happy. I feel like Temple's also growing. And I love it because it's one of the greatest schools in the country.
That will wrap things up for today. For Kevin Kopp and the Temple made, Temple proud winner of Big Brother's All-Stars, Cody Calafiore, I'm Scott Walcoff saying, go Owls, and remember, greatness doesn't quit.